Scout will never really be a question mark when it comes to EDG, right? We always know he's going to perform admirably. To me, for EDG to improve, it's a lot more about the intangibles of improving shot calling and coordination and being able to find and create these aggressive windows in the early and mid game.
How does that voice influence it here? Let's go. Game number 1 here. Pick ban, EDG blue, Suning red. The most questionable one I'm seeing here is an early Ornn ban from EDG. Zoe alongside with a Nidalee from Suning.
EDG have banned Ornn every game, which actually kind of blows my mind because we saw Aodi playing it so well in playoffs, remember? Yeah. You casted that EDG versus RNG series where it looked like whoever got the Ornn would win the game.
They obviously have bigger priorities in the Ezreal first pick, with Trundle quickly going over to Suning.
Yeah, and interesting to see that EDG also going to go over towards this Ezreal playstyle because Hope has really been preferring the Aphelios. Of course, he has had 3 games on Kalista, so
yeah, he talked about
kind of skewing those statistics. But Suning expected first side, but actually kind of strange when you think about Syndra not banned and not first rotation by either team.
I mean, we've got 3 really strong picks in the meta right now. The Yuumi Ezreal combo with the Syndra mid for Scout.
And you would argue that this is as good as it gets, right? You have the Ezreal Yuumi, which great against Trundle. The pillar does absolutely nothing to you. Sure, Syndra's affected by it, but Syndra's just so... She has so few weaknesses, right? You do well in the early game. You scale up fine. You have great pick potential. You have good team fighting. You have consistent CC. Your R can just blow anyone up, and I have been waiting to see this.
I know you have. You've been talking about this for days.
And we were talking about this off cast because SwordArt has been spamming Soraka and Lulu. So going to pick up the Lulu. This is more of an LEC special. Obviously does pretty well to combat the Yuumi because you not only have the Whimsy to CC the AD carry, you also have the shield coming in for any of the Yuumi poke coming out. And of course just having very strong trades with the damage from your passive.
I'm going to ask you a question. Does a Whimsy pull off the Yuumi of the AD carry?
I want to say yes.
Okay.
Yes, it does.
Okay. That's an interesting dynamic. Of course, we'll get to double-check in game anyway. Olaf is there. You're going to see bans towards jungle now. I apologize for the audience at home. We are looking towards nailing down Jiejie because EDG already have some pretty strong picks. And pick and ban's going to be very different, so maybe I shouldn't apologize because we're going to have a very different pick and ban at that.
Yeah, and so both teams are already building up towards scaling late-game team fights. On the side of Suning, it's kind of strange because we'd want to see some kind of frontline tank, but been not really known for that role, especially with the Ornn being banned out. I guess you do have the Lulu, her ultimate coming in to buff up that Trundle or really anyone on your team to kind of take that role.
Something like a Galio as well could be annoying, but that's been banned away by EDG. Targeting Angel.
We do still have the Wukong open, which obviously is our highest priority top laner here in the LPL. And that's been a champion that Bins love to play and would kind of secure your ability to get on top of something like an Ezreal.
They go for Camille ban instead, which Bin pulled out in the series against Invictus Gaming.
I mean, it's Bin's main champion. It's what he loves playing in solo queue. His name was based around Camille for a while, and I'm actually kind of glad they banned it away because I don't want to see Suning this sort of 1-4 playstyle. It seems like where they've really struggled and where we've seen Bin go over-aggressive. Instead, just stick to that sort of aggressive team fighting comp. You already have your scaling elements in there, and Bin has looked amazing on this champion.
Especially when you got the Lulu by the side, right? You just want to make it super simplistic. You've got EDG now, though, in an interesting position. Aodi doesn't have the Ornn that you mentioned before with a lot of the success. Jiejie's Lee Sin is his favorite champion.
You could go towards the Mordekaiser, right? It has a good laning matchup into the Wukong, and you already have this composition that's able to try to kite out what Suning have drafted. And obviously, Mordekaiser works very well in those situations. You have a lot of kind of inherent threat if the enemy team comes onto you.
Let's flash back to playoffs as well, or at least the end of the split, where Aodi on Mordekaiser was massive.
It was his best champion in my mind.
Yeah.
He was looking really good on it. But, of course, Renekton will also have a strong laning matchup into the Wukong, but will fall off a bit in the late game, but when you're paired with a Yuumi, you can try to be this kind of sustained tank in the front of these team fights.
Also a lot of bruising here. We'll talk about EDG's comp in a second, Lyric. I want to round out Suning because they've already started us with the Lulu. SwordArt is smiling. He's in good mood. Stop it.
I don't expect them to go with something like this. They can look for a skill matchup in the mid lane if they do want an assassin, something like a LeBlanc, or if you want to draft some kind of long-range team fighting. Ooh, this is undefeated with Angel, not in the LPL.
Yeah,
Sorry,
I'm with you.
Angel's undefeated on this Kassadin.
He's been a great Kassadin.
He didn't lose with it at all in spring. He's played it once in summer, so I think we're sitting on about 6-0 now.
Also, I have to say, late game Lulu with Kassadin is disgusting.
Yeah.
Especially when you use a Whimsy on an ally.
I mean, scaling in this game looks pretty one-sided. We already had these kind of close elements, but just putting that Kassadin on top of what Suning had already drafted just seems like a kind of clean sweep if we get ultra late.
Super interesting, though, because I want you to tell me about the dynamic of EDG, because we got 3 big power picks. We rounded it out with that mid-game trough in, spike, I should say, with Renekton and Lee Sin.
So for EDG, we have a ton of early game setup for the Lee Sin. That's nice, right?
Early, yes.
Exactly. You have the CC and damage coming out in the mid jungle. It will be very easy to find those kills on Kassadin if you can get on top of him. You can try to set up something like a bounce back on a wave, put Kassadin in a threatened position to where Lee Sin comes, and of course there's going to be kill threat in that top side with Renekton and Lee Sin as well. Your bot lane is going to scale up just fine, and to me, for EDG, it is going to be a lot more about these mid-game team fights.
Okay, so we're looking towards a mid-game. While I see a Lulu for the first time, why did you want to see this? Tell me. What makes Lulu so special for you at the moment?
It's not about Lulu being special. It's about in that specific matchup against the Yuumi where we talked about being able to shield that Q, being able to use that Whimsy on the AD carry. You do have a lot of trade damage coming from your passive, and her ability to enhance a hyper carry does get the closest you can get to matching the scaling of an Ezreal Yuumi.
I like that. Enhancing the hyper carry. You've got an Aphelios, you've got a Kassadin. All guns blazing here for Suning because they're 2-2 in the LPL. They've just taken losses to JDG and IG in 0-2 fashion, but they started off the split strong. It's about refinding that form with their 5th series. While for EDG, folks, it was WE then OMG. They're one apiece. They need to get some early wins on the board here, especially against the mid-tier teams alike, like Suning. Let's run into Summoner's Rift here for our last series of the day. If you're watching the LCK, I have to say one thing. We have more blood here, and we are the best region in the world. So take that. But a big shout out to Atlas and LS, who are also casting at the same time. Please don't get angry at us.
You know, I just want to say that, you know, we did win MSC.
We smashed him. Gen G got 3-0'd by Top Esports, and then we had an all-LPL final.
Yes, we did.
What does
so
that tell you?
If that isn't enough reason to come watch Suning and EDG, I don't know what is.
You know what? If people talk about the, you know, that not being a real tournament, well, let me say one thing. There's a lot of money on the line as well. There's 600 grand. That's a lot of dollary doozers. Welcome. Sir, we have a Lulu. Of course, Airy, we're going to be seeing on her, which is standard the last time we saw her.
Yep, it is typically what you see, and the only kind of interesting dynamic we can see created by Suning's comp in the early game is the fact that Trundle is a jungler that can gank at level 2 as compared to Lee Sin, who really needs more of his full combo. So if you did want to try to walk mid and look for that pillar onto Syndra, it would be quite risky because if Jiejie was around counter gank set, you definitely will lose out in the 2v2.
Well, it is going to be the buff to buff here for the Lee Sin, so the potential to be around mid is there, while a defensive ward placed towards Raptors. Very nicely done there from Angel to make sure SofM has a top side to go to eventually. Because you were talking about the top 2v2 with the Renekton, the Lee Sin, or even towards Scout. Vertical jungling here for Jiejie could be a pretty big start for EDG.
Well, Jiejie just going to go, like you said, buff to buff, a single target clear, and then he will be able to be around topside when that top lane scuttle spawns. So we'll lead into a pretty easy path for that if he wants to look for it.
But apart from that, everything's standard here across the board. Ward spotted out and placed as SofM now towards Raptors himself. Single targets being continued by Jiejie. He's now off of his Gromp. Whatever, I can't, Augusta? What's the Gromp's name?
Wait, the Gromp has a name?
The Gromp has a name. Augusta. Agatha.
So
one of them.
Typically, you wouldn't see a Lee Sin invade a Trundle, but because EDG's lanes have priority, Jiejie does feel fine going for this.
He has been spotted out, and SofM knows he's there. Going to still be continuing here with the Krugs, but Scout moving up as well.
They have wards.
They
so
also know that ward's there on the Tri-Brush.
Yeah, so just going to throw a pillar. EDG not actually able to do anything.
Just exploring the scenery.
I mean, they definitely at least need to take this red since you did let Angel farm freely under turret, not bullying him out as the Syndra, so you need something in return for not doing that.
The red buff going to be taken away here. SofM just walking through the frozen domain. And Scout's back to wave. Okay. That was a bit of an event out of nothing, wasn't it?
Yeah, but now both teams just going to kind of get back to their expected scuttle crabs with Suning having push in bot and just a lot of nothing happening in top lane. We see these trades every day.
That we do.
They don't turn into anything ever.
Now this one might. Angel is only level 4. Big wave to help clear out from Scout, but nice trading from him as the wave pushes in, and Angel is going to go and meet SofM towards his bottom side. Bit of reverse invading towards the Raptors.
Yeah, and this wave in the mid lane obviously built up from Scout going and spending so much time around top and in the enemy jungle, just letting that build up for Angel. Now we'll have to answer.
So, do I need to see a very proactive Jiejie this game? Is my question I'm going to ask as he moves towards top.
It's what we definitely want to see, and I love it because we saw how EDG got this bounce back, you know, about a minute and a half ago.
They did. Bin's going to truly regret it. Cripples there, Sonic Wave, not finding its mark, instead getting the shove-in wave as Bin just pays the respect.
And Aodi's still going to hold this here.
Makes it a little more dangerous towards that top side.
I like that SofM didn't stay on the map too long, didn't clear his bot camps because it could have led to some kind of maybe cheeky play of Jiejie looking for a return getting top, but we do see SofM is predicting that this can happen, so he's already shadowing top.
Especially with the low health bar on Aodi too, but you know Renekton, he has the sustain. Well, Bin has no mana, but teleport available as he's now going to be backing away. So lane states in favor here of EDG, especially after the fact that we see the 15 CS lead with the wave pushing back out and teleport in the top lane about to commence.
Yep, so the slow early game is what we expected coming into this match.
But then mid-game, we moved, don't we?
I mean, even early game, we could have moved, right? EDG tried. EDG drafted this composition that's able to, but not being able to find the windows thus far, not being able to create the windows either. They really tried with that first top gank, but some good pathing by SofM to counter it.
I guess 5 minutes is early, though, so a lot more early game to be had.
Yes, there is. And
yeah.
maybe by the 8-minute mark, you know, we start seeing some Rift Heralds. That's when things will get a bit more action-packed.
We get Shelly, and then I don't know what they call the second one. Shelena. That sounds perfect.
You don't watch enough LCK.
It's almost like it's on the same time as the LPL.
It is on the same time. You're right.
And I will say, they have 4 days a week. We have 7. So
that is also true.
There's a lot to watch here. Is also for Jiejie. Oh my lord! Angel flashes a bit too late there at the end too. That first blood, well deserved by the duo.
And I just love it because in Champ Select, we set up the fact of, okay, Scout can try to set up this wave in a place where, you know, he doesn't get the bounce back and pushes back to him. You don't see it too often in mid lane matchups unless it's melee versus melee, but still was able to set it up. Jiejie comes in extremely decisive with that ward hop. All the skill shots land, and Angel goes down. And
the assist going to Scout, that's great, but the kill going to Jiejie. We just came through a series of IG versus Rogue Warriors where Ning led with the snowball with the first kill on the Lee Sin. Assuming this is going to be difficult. 600 gold lead here for EDG, while Ocean Dragon is going to be the retribution for Suning, who managed to get the shove out in the bottom side and join up as well. So Ocean kicked the game off. It's going to be an Infernal next lyric. There it is. Infernal. But here's what happened.
Big stacking wave of Angel going into Scout. He actually has no mana, but Scout of the weak hits ensures the Sonic wave hitting as well, and then Jiejie just being nice, hitting that flash really fast, making sure they secure that kill.
Really rough for Angel there, flashing and thinking you're going to get out with a sliver of health, but yeah, the audio, as you said, connected. Now, for that, with that first blood along the line, Ping's being shoved down towards blue buff, but Jiejie right now shadowing mid once again.
And we actually haven't talked a lot about... So Jiejie wants to shadow mid, right? Gank mid, rotate with Scout towards top. We haven't talked a lot about what Suning wants to do. SofM just needs to kind of shadow his laners, make sure they don't get dove, make sure there isn't too much action on the map, and allow this game tempo to keep going very slow.
But if SofM gets caught out, I mean, that's against the game plan. He flashes away. That ward in the brush. Dividends for EDG.
Yeah, EDG have now tried to make this play top twice, forcing out SofM's flash, and zoning Bin off of some experience. Going to feel good to walk. Ooh.
Oh, and Unleashed Power is back up and available again. Bin, surprise, surprise, at half health will use his Cyclone, but with the Dominus Scatter the Weak, nicely done. And Jiejie getting out. It's a kill over to the mid lane, and EDG are dominating this top side.
Aodi feeling amazing. So we remember when Aodi came in, Aodi and Syndra, this team continuously ganked the top lane, and it's very weird for EDG because EDG's historically been that team that plays towards bot side, right?
Yep.
Especially when you had people like Deft and Meiko really demanding all those resources. But
throwback, yeah.
Exactly, people like Mouse in the top lane just sitting up there crying. So Aodi bringing a new voice to EDG, calling these guys up top consistently and finding an advantage.
And the voice has been super strong. He's 30 CS up in this matchup. He did that before the I don't know what to call them. The Glory team came up towards the top side, and now SofM getting bullied himself. Conqueror enabled, Jiejie's out. But Subjugate in front of the Herald is a scatter the weak above all. Angel may be 6, but the damage still available for EDG. With Boon moving down, maybe that's enough. Even SwordArt makes the roam as well, so for Suning, that objective was well fought for.
Despite the setbacks with Bin being so far behind and, you know, giving over some kills, Suning are still the ones securing all the objectives, and the state of the game is still extremely slow.
Well, it might be for now. Yuumi's joined the mid lane.
But that's good. For Suning, that's a positive, right? We're not saying, oh, it's slow, this is a bad thing. Suning are like, cool, this is going slow. We have the hyper carry with the Lulu. We have the Kassadin in the mid lane. We have this Trundle that can steal any resistances if that this Renekton ends up buying, so Suning are in a good place.
Yeah, because you're up against a Lee Sin Renekton. Right now, what you want is sit back and give them nothing more.
Exactly. So Suning are executing on their game plan. EDG are finding some windows, but they are the ones who need to be getting things like the Rift Herald and these early dragons working up towards an Ocean Soul. Not an Ocean Soul, a Dragon Soul, I'm sorry.
Well, it could be an Infernal or a Mountain looking at the board. Cloud's going to be up in 145, and Jiejie is still pushing that limit, looking for invades. Still finds himself up in experience due to the early blood and experience advantage. While I got my eyes towards the top side, I know we are focused on Scout and Angel here, but look top with the CS discrepancy.
To be fair, they did posture for 2 dives, so he didn't really get much of a chance in an already losing matchup.
As we are still looking mid because Scout has just been pushing off Angel, who you saw in the last fight has ulti. At least Bin gets the shove here. That's nice, but
he did buy the Tiamat, so it does help kind of guarantee a non-interactive laning phase if you want, right? Because you can just kind of spam that, clear the wave instantly, and back off.
Nice bit of health as well, which will come in handy when Jiejie shows his face up here yet again. And Bin says, leave me alone. Scout coming up as well. Round 3.
Top side was the name of the game for EDG. You have the Ezreal, Yuumi, and bot. You don't really expect anything out of this. And sadly, this time SofM is nowhere to be seen. So Bin once again having to back off, but Scout having to make it back to the mid lane since Angel is pushing in that wave. But Suning are actually posturing for an aggressive player on bot right now.
Everyone grouping up. Gravitum available as well. Moonlight Vigil lands on top of Hope, but it's Infernum, so does nothing. The turnaround onto huanfeng forces the wild growth. The poke was massive there. Hope no longer has the true shot barrage, but that was great by the bottom lane of EDG.
EDG were the ones finding 2v2 kills against Jomung and Missing in their first series. Looking great. Of course, they were on a Kalista Nautilus. Kalista set bot lane, so a lot more aggressive, but there's no doubt in their proficiency in lane.
As Angel now going to find himself in a bit of a sticky situation. He has to flash over the wall as the Realm Warp, or what do we call it? The Rift Limp is only level 1 here.
The Rift Walk, as I would.
Rift Walk, it
I
is,
would
but it is a bit
assume
of a... I think we call it walk again, don't we? Because it's no longer a limp.
No, it's kind of like a... The distance is pretty nice. We also did see Aodi hovering towards the mid lane there, so it was even more dangerous for Angel, but Suning gonna get another dragon. Might lead to Bin getting dove, but doesn't look like they have the wave, and Bin does still have TP, so he could even just back off for like half a wave and then TP right back in.
So while I understand giving away objectives like this is big for Suning, especially with the clock on their composition, that's still a 2.5k gold lead with Bin getting dove again, so trade-off here might be worth it. The kick into the wall not needed. Sonic Wave into the resonating strike. Nice from Jiejie. He'll survive the turret as well. While Rift Herald trade for the bottom side is going to mean first turret blood for Suning. That will be traded towards the top as well. So for huanfeng getting a bit more gold under his belt while Aodi chips away towards top side plates.
If there's one thing you can't question, it's the fact that EDG at least understood the win conditions and windows that their composition has and has abused them very well.
With Hope running in here, that was absolutely fine. Just catches the rest of the Rift Herald that does half the damage to the bottom lane inner.
But they're winning topside. They weren't able to get the Herald. The fact that they are winning topside as well means they could have pushed for something like a TP advantage to try to get a skirmish around bot, play for an early dragon, or get your bot lane an advantage. They didn't look for that either. So they've strictly got a gold lead on their top and jungle. And now how do you translate that into neutral objectives? You are going to have a window kind of in this next, let's say, 10-minute mark before the Aphelios really starts coming online, but I liked earlier you say you're the ones on the clock, right?
Yeah. I was going to ask you as well, now that we do have a TP advantage for Aodi, even though after everything's said and done, does it mean anything here?
It might mean something for the next Herald, but that's really the only window they're going to have to abuse for a neutral objective on the opposite side of the map.
Because that's going to be up in less than a minute at the very least. Hope and Meiko have moved to this top side. And that topside turret is about a gentle breeze away. Angel actually matching this topside for now, hovering around while pings are getting spammed. Huanfeng and SwordArt are pushing out mid in preparation for this Herald. But right now, EDG have the deep vision and they have the control to push in aggressively here.
Yep, of course, their bot lane. I mean, Kassadin wasn't matching it, but even against Kassadin can instantly clear and just move as compared to in the mid lane where Scout can like match that in some sense. So EDG gonna use their prio through topside to walk down the river. Their topside vision is actually beautiful. All of Suning's jungle is lit up, and we've already touched on how Renekton does have that TP advantage, so can join a fight at any time as compared to Bin, who does have to walk across the map to get there. And
he's still down towards the bottom side. The rest of Suning are making the move. Bin is going to be fully tracked with the control ward you see in the bottom side of the map. Well, Jiejie has a pet cat, and Huanfeng's been caught out. A great kick backwards with the wild growth. He gets deleted anyway. Nice pickoff from EDG, who now want more in the form of Suning. 4 versus 5 for 20 seconds.
I want to know where this stigma with Lee Sin's is coming from, because when you watch LPL, all you see is beautiful Lee Sin play.
We are not Lee Sinners. We bless the world.
We do.
With some great blind monkism. As Angel's now in the mid lane to get Sonic waved. Excuse me, Scatter the Wick to get the ability names mixed up. As Angel underneath turret almost died. Well, Jiejie says, boys, I got this. I got the Herald. Keep pushing mid.
And now we're at about a 3K gold lead on the side of EDG. And Bin is so far behind, right? He's the main source of engage for this Suning team. If he goes in, he could just end up getting deleted from Scout, Jiejie, and Aodi with how far ahead they are.
We've seen a lot of Trinity Force Wukong. Is this the adaptation build? Do you want to see the Black Cleaver coming in here instead, just to simply get a bit more health? Or at least cheaper item?
At this point, probably yeah, because you don't even need to be a big damage threat for your team, right? You have a Kassadin and Aphelios, and again, you have a Lulu to buff up that Aphelios as well, so you really just need to serve as a consistent frontline who can get on top of EDG and allow Angel and Huanfeng to do all the work.
I'll be looking towards Huanfeng. He's got the Infinity Edge. I will pass through this quickly because items right now still at the 1.5 point here for Suning, while you look towards EDG, and Hope is still sitting on Sheen, Manamune. Also note that Scout is heading towards a Spellbinder, it seems, for his second item, the 102 Syndra, who now starting to develop a lead. And there you go. I believe that's his solo kill.
For now, on the side of EDG, you just keep playing around what you've been doing, right? Use your pressure from the Renekton lane. So he still does have a TP advantage. So put him up towards top since Dragon's going to spawn right now. Have Jiejie play around the Syndra since Scout is quite strong as well. Try to find any picks. If not, Dragon's up in 20 seconds. All 4 of you group up while Aodi's putting pressure on top lane. Have him TP over, secure the Dragon or the fight.
I'm also going to note that having an Infernal Rift with this composition for EDG must feel nice, right?
Yeah, I mean, what composition doesn't feel nice?
That's also true. He's just still roaming around with the cat. SofM top side. He wants a bit of Aodi, but this is a potential 1v2, I'll say. No, Bin's coming in as well.
So Suning's saying, hey, we already have 2 dragons. We're just going to try and find a kill and guarantee some gold on the map for ourselves.
Now begins the potential to outplay, but it's going to be hard. Angel matching the level 2, but the wave instantly cleared away. And away they go.
But I feel like they had the window at first when the wave had initially crashed, if they would have committed. And now with their indecisiveness, they've given away bot turret, they've let Hope free farm mid, they've lost Dragon, and they just wasted time not collecting any gold or experience on any of the carries who were there.
We now go to 4K gold leader there as well at 18 minutes in the game. Jiejie continues to look for something to punish. And we've been talking about EDG's vision here. Now that they're in control, that'll continue forward. Deep vision towards the blue side. Hope goes back towards mid. They're taking more turrets. This outer turret mid is actually just free.
Yeah, EDG just going to be able to secure this one based off the advantages they've gained in tempo through Suning misplaying the map.
Have we talked about Suning in the previous series yet? Because what were your general thoughts? Because at least LNG WE, I think they were much more of a cleaner team, right? JDG and IG were levels above them in terms of just the look.
Yeah, I'm still pretty undecided on Suning because, especially now where they're going with these like look at this composition, right? You don't really have necessarily a window to play around in early game compared to what EDG have drafted to.
Yep.
You're pretty much at their kind of whim until mid game, and we're not getting to see much. But in other games, I feel like we have seen some good proactivity coming out from Suning. To me, their biggest problem is still their team fight coordination, but
we talked a lot about their comms coming into this, right?
yeah.
That's a big part of it too, is you talk about EDG's coordination right now. They're coordinated to kill Bin. 3 people here, Rift Herald's going down. And Bin now going to be walking away. The Cyclone up, Sonic Wave misses. But Herald now got a long lane to charge down while the rest of Suning are coordinated through mid. Jiejie still here, looking to get the push underway. While Suning, they just leave the Ardent Sensor Lulu there alongside huanfeng.
Like, this is my question mark. Why are Suning trying to trade around mid when they can just send SofM to hover, minimize your losses, and play for the outscaling game?
Because they've just lost an inhibitor turret.
Exactly.
For absolutely nothing.
For no reason. And let's say they'd even gotten mid lane turret. It would have meant nothing.
Yeah.
Would have meant absolutely nothing.
This team could defend inhibitor turret at this point, right?
Yes, it can. I mean, at any point, SofM could have backed off and say, hey, guys, we're just going to buy some more time. I'm going to go help defend this Herald. Then we'll hover over towards mid because it's probably what EDG would have used with their prio.
Yeah.
And just keep trying to buy time, right? The name of Suning's composition is buy time.
Which,
and they're not
inhibitor.
They're not playing like that is the problem.
Because when you have a Renekton that's so far ahead in CS, it might not be the greatest split pusher we've talked about many times before, but his ability to start threatening that open lane comes through with Bin, who can't defend against him. With Jiejie, who's had free roam here as well. A lot of windows now for EDG. They're 4.5k gold ahead. They've got the other Infernal coming up in 2 minutes. Baron's sitting there and waiting as well. And EDG with full control around it.
And I like this. Jiejie has any choice he wants. It's about playing around the side lane with your soul laners, trying to find a pick until something like a dragon comes back up. So they're doing that beautifully. They keep setting up vision quite well and just looking for picks, right? They have a lot of single target CC and damage coming out from their fed members on their team, and they're playing with it.
And now it's almost guaranteed, right? The Spellbinder second item here for Scout. 1 Scout of the week, 1 kick against the wall. And the damage is going to be too immense for Suning to deal with. Also note the Mirror Mana is complete here for the Ezreal. 2 items pretty much across the board with Death Dance on the way. And EDG again have rotated faster, have caught Suning unawares. That's just another free turret. Turret number 6.
It's just great to see you sending Jiejie to hover top, guarantee that priority, bounces back to mid lane, pairs up with Meiko while Hope's just farming safely, goes into the jungle, gets all that deep vision, and while huanfeng's forced to answer that wave under tier 2 turret, they just rotate everyone to take another tower in top side.
Easily done. 22 minutes in. Dragon up in 50 seconds. EDG have reset just in time to walk back on the map and have about 35 seconds to spare, while Suning have not. Going to get the shove through mid. Again, Ardent Sensor Lulu, so huanfeng is clearing these waves pretty damn quick with the Renekton Hurricane as well.
At the same time, Suning is all heading top. I guess they do have an Aphelios if they want to try and like bluff EDG and say, okay, you go towards bot side. We can jump onto this Baron at any time.
And TP is up for Bin as well if they choose to take a fight around it, which, as you're about to tell me, is probably not the go.
I'd say you probably want to wait for one more item on both of your carries in mid and 80 carries, so just buying more time. You're not at a point where you necessarily need to fight.
I noticed that Bin went Trinity Force as well. I know we were just talking before about getting some stats quickly, but it's going to be a strong first item.
I mean, there is still the argument and sentiment that when you are behind in the game, it is better to just buy full-on damage because it's like the positions you need to be in. You need to be able to get onto the enemy carries anyway and be able to delete them as compared to defensive stats where,
True.
you know.
Different
But
role. I mean,
exactly.
you're not an Ornn.
But his role in the comp that they've drafted with him falling behind is where it's like, well, I feel like you can justify just getting more defensive stats in playing the role of a CC bot.
We'll have to see what, the second item is, because he's still sitting on the bag of whatever those shoes are, the tier 1s. Eventually going to turn tier 2. Versus Aodi, who has himself a Death's Dance now as well. And also a bounty. Everyone on EDG has a bounty, bar Meiko, which I feel like he's been done dirty.
It's because he's playing Yuumi.
Yeah.
Can't get a bounty.
They're
Feels
saying,
bad.
look, this champion is a little bit busted. We can't give you the adoration that you deserve. To be fair, though, Ezreal at the moment with the build is pretty damn good as well. All right. We're at 24 minutes in. We have 4 kills. 2 LCK streams on here tonight.
Oh, God.
You got the multi-stream as I requested. And you've also got EDG heading towards Baron Suning doing the same. Not another dragon for 4 minutes. As you saw before, it was easily taken by EDG. And we're just going to be hovering around this for quite a while.
We also have Bramble Vest coming on the Kassadin. We've seen this before, actually, so it's not as crazy as you would expect. He's also typically been put in lane against the Renekton. He wasn't that time, but we have seen him up against Aodi in the side lane.
My favorite Kassadin build, still the Doomby one with Righteous Glory. That was a lot of fun to watch.
That's every Doomby champion build, though, like the Rise.
But you don't expect it on the Kassadin. As Jiejie really just face-checking against SofM. Not really scared either. Been hovering around the side, but EDG confident, especially Scout. He's got a Banshee's Veil now. So the first Cyclone might not connect.
Also Hope at almost at the point of that death stance like you already talked about, so going to be really hard to kill. And even Bin, I don't feel like he can just aggressively run forward. Like, you do have all the defensive stats coming out from that Lulu, but feels like it would be a waste of cooldowns, and you would still prefer to find something like a flank. Of course, they don't have any deep vision. Just look at the map, right? The map is completely dark once we hit river.
That's why Suning keep walking into this brushes. Jiejie's going to go on in. Angel jumps as well. Nice safeguard away, but that's Subjugate. That ultimate is down, and Yuumi heals a bucket load without Athene's. So now we're just going to siege mid, apparently, as Hope's by himself. He doesn't have a Yuumi. Suning almost closed the gap. And you can kind of see Suning still holding onto this turret. The clock goes on. Let's not forget what you said earlier in the game. We're at 26 minutes now. We're almost towards 3-item Aphelios, 2-item Wukong, 3-item Kassadin. This game is slowly but surely going towards Suning.
And there were a lot of games coming into LPL that I doubted Kassadin. I thought, okay, well, he's not going to get to a strong enough point to where he can impact these games. But we've seen too many times where a 3-item Kassadin just completely takes over a game.
Yeah. Coming up very, very shortly. Angel.
He had like an 88% win rate or something. So
it's pretty ridiculous.
Pretty much
at the moment.
almost every time.
Because a lot of the time, we skirmish a lot in the LPL. He gets an early lead out of mistakes, and then you can't stop him from there.
That is exactly what happens. we see a 2-0 Kassadin at like 8 minutes off of a skirmish that he probably shouldn't have won.
Hey, this is why in a lot of my Chinese solo queue games here, I see a lot of Kassadin because of the level 1 invades. You know what? And then he finds a random kill when he should never, and the game is lost from 2 minutes in. This time around, it was Scout dictating the lane, of course, but Angel, he's got himself Seraph's Embrace now. We're still keeping track of his items.
Also about to be level 16 off his Krugs.
I was going to say his level is about to tick over to the... Yes. Wait for it.
Yeah. Ooh.
Level 16 into the coffin.
This is where if we had like a crowd like cheering for wards, like there would have been like a nice crowd reaction.
But I remember the when we were in Hongqiao, the crowd wasn't cheering for that kind of stuff. You know?
Yeah, you're right.
We got the Jieies and then a TSM chant. And then
I remember you guys did get TSM chants.
It was quite interesting. It was because someone started cheering about LGD being the meme.
I remember you guys used to get tons of LGD chants.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
It was such a meme. Now it would be V5, I feel, as Jiejie's actually been called out without a Yuumi. To go golden with a stopwatch is nice. The Scout gets an even nicer Scout of the week. Aodi uses Dominus. Now, EDG, they're very slow here, and they keep getting caught out. As maybe not.
As
SofM.
SofM is also getting caught out. And, well, there we go. There's a key. There's numerous key ultimates coming out, actually, because Bin had used the Cyclone. So EDG get a third Infernal Drake.
Yay. And then we got one more. Can we get some blood, please? What is this?
I don't know.
I don't know. Sir, I came here for a reason, right? I came here for blood. I came here to
I guess
watch.
the disappointing part, too, is after the series we had just before this, not because it was necessarily fast, but because it was really hype, right?
Yeah.
We saw a lot of shenanigans. We saw IG playing the IG way. We saw Lei making a lot of mistakes.
Especially the game 2, right? As Scout might have found a pick, but Angel's in a flank. Oh no, we've hit Kassadin level as Scout might be jumped on here. Finally a fight. I've been asking for it. EDG jump on into the backline. The kick not enabled as Jiejie just dies. And EDG, this could be the point of regret.
And that was pretty much just Jiejie getting too confident, saying, okay, Kassadin comes in. He got to about half HP. I can do it. Jumps into every member of Suning. Nothing happens.
We haven't seen them fight full on for a while. Are we just at the point where Suning have outscaled?
We have seen no team fights. We've only seen dives in the top lane. Think about it. All of EDG's kills.
And we're at Baron. Pings are going down, of course, but Jiejie's not alive. With the jungler down, with an Aphelios in the game. Is this a free Baron?
Cyclone's back up, so Suning can take this.
And they're all the way onto Hope. He's into the backline. He runs away. Yuumi goes on him. That means there's no healing for Aodi as Unleashed Power does kill Bin, but huanfeng as Aphelios levels are big until Scout runs forward, still at full health himself. But Angel gets the Renekton. huanfeng healing up, but Hope is even better. And with Scout onto a good Scout of the week, he flashes over the wall. Angel's still there, though. Yuumi's healing is pretty insane. Suning running away. True Shot Barrage doesn't tag them. But SofM and SwordArt escaping for their lives. While Hope, he's going to be chasing this one. Meiko helps him run forward and unleash power. No, it's not available because it's an Ezreal. Forward Hope goes and they get a kill. That was a fight.
So the deciding factor, obviously, is that Bin wasn't able to lock down Hope. Hope was able to flash out of the Cyclone. And sure, Suning were able to kill pretty much all the other important members of EDG. Scout didn't go down, but Scout also ran out of mana, so he wasn't too big of a threat. Hope just able to dish out so much free damage after that because the Wukong Cyclone is your only CC, other than the Gravitum, but you know, the chances of you hitting that Gravitum on the Ezreal are quite low.
That was really great. It was hard to track because I wasn't used to a fight, especially in this game, as EDG will pick up the first Baron of the game, but my confidence still wavering as we look at this one again.
Yeah, so we're actually going all the way back to the initial one where Angel jumps in. Jiejie getting super hypey right here, goes for the kick, isn't able to get it the way he wants, and just ends up getting deleted here. Wukong hitting the Cyclone, not able to get Hope, and just keep your eyes on Hope. He's going to dish so much free damage. Good ultimate coming out from Scout actually to start this one off, but just hitting all these Qs, and Scout as well. There's just no more follow-up engaged from the side of Suning.
Scout was massive in this fight. I mean,
Scout. This is a Scout of the week, but
yeah.
I wish we could see the damage numbers here because I'm still sure Hope did the lion's share, which I guess is what you'd expect.
Hope and Meiko. I mean, the Ezreal Yuumi once again. Let's get the beer buff. 3.2k for EDG off the Baron. As you've got a 4-item Ezreal, he's got Jiejie, he's got Death's Dance, just the usual here with 4-item on Scout as well. Making the Void Staff as we got a 1v1 brewing, Unleash Power. It's still a Syndra.
It's still a triple Infernal Drake Syndra with a 6k gold lead.
Give her Infernal Soul and Angel is dead there. He had Zhonya's Hourglass, good not to burn it because he would have definitely been dead.
You know,
what's up, sir?
I don't think scaling matters.
You don't?
I just put that in context. Triple Infernal, 6k gold lead.
That's very true.
Yes, it is.
And you've got Baron. And you got Ezreal Yuumi. And we know how League of Legends works. Whoever has the better champion wins.
He even went more defensive and also bought a Guardian Angel.
And he still does a bucket load of damage.
A lot of people substituted GA with that stance. They don't typically buy both.
And then you go to Blade of the Ruined King 4th, right? So you have the ultimate healing.
Exactly. So, but Hope just going to be immortal.
It's Aphelios versus Ezreal Yuumi. Who will win? Well, Hope is just soloing down the turrets. Bin's going in for the engage. The Cyclone, I don't think Bin realizes what EDG can do, and he might have thrown away any chance of scaling into this game, as SofM gets forced back. excuse my wording. Inhibitor going to go down bottom and mid as well. I think this game's just done.
Hysterics, there's no scaling back into this game. There's 3 Infernal Drakes and an 8k gold lead.
All right, I'm with you now. 8k gold lead means for EDG. Let's just run it towards the Nexus. As Huanfeng has the Infernum to defend, but Angel is trying his darndest. Look at SofM trying to kite around while everyone goes on in. Jiejie gets the kick on back. Aodi's in the back line. They bear the Nexus, and Angel gets forced away while Hope wants to do the most plain X-Peke we've seen in a while. But with the Jiejie, he can handle this. He arcane shifts away. True Shot Barrage for the double. Make it into a triple. And EDG, it was controlled towards that Baron. That sent them into a game 1 win.
That was a game.
That was a bit of